Welcome back to Parental Advisory, Expecting Parents from First Coast News. Been a bit of a while since our last podcast, but as a lot of things are going in the world right now, just a mess and unpredictable. Casey, Katie, how you guys doing this morning?
Hey, doing pretty good. Getting a lot bigger every day. Feeling lots of very strong kicks. But doing well. How you doing, Casey?
I'm good. We were chatting a little bit before we started, and we were just talking about how we're all feeling the pain of not being able to sleep. Joe being a spouse, essentially, of someone not being able to sleep. It's just, it sucks so much. I've been getting like 4 hours of sleep, but besides that, no complaints. So, I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, I obviously am not personally feeling that myself, but I'm feeling it through my fiance Hannah, and it's just she's big enough now where it's just nothing's comfortable. She has the C pillow, but even with that, which helps, she needs like a mountain of pillows. And I think, Katie, you were telling her the other day a pillow fort has helped you a little bit.
I basically built a pillow fort because I was sleeping. I'm a back sleeper normally, and obviously we can't lay on our backs. So I had been sleeping on my side, but my hips would hurt so bad. I was like, I have got to find a solution. Like, I cannot sleep on my side anymore. So I now build like a fort of like 3 pillows on an incline. And then I put the big pregnancy pillow on top of that, and I lay on that so I can lay on my back. So I'm essentially sitting up in the bed, but I guess technically on your back. I look ridiculous, but it's the only way I can sleep more than a couple hours without waking up in pain.
I was a back sleeper too, and it's like retraining your brain how to sleep. It's so weird.
Yeah, and the body does not like the side sleeping.
Yeah, I feel you, girl. I feel you.
Well, bless you guys for trucking through this. It's been so long since we've been going, and my progress for Hannah has always been, tracking the belly. And if it's a basketball, I can't palm it. I'm there now where I can no longer palm it. He is a size now where he's just taken over most of my fiance, it looks like. So, I mean, well, God only knows how you guys are feeling, but bless you guys for carrying the load literally.
How much longer do you guys have? Because I know I'm a little bit later than y'all, and we haven't talked in a while. How much longer as far as due date?
Yeah, our due date's July 30th, so we have these little blocks that we were using for our wedding countdown, and I don't know, if last time we mentioned we were doing a smaller scale one, yeah, now it's even smaller. Now it's just immediate family, so we changed that now to our countdown to the birthday, and 6.5, 7 weeks, I think, is what we're on right now, so it's getting real.
I'm like just a few days behind you and Hannah, so I'm like 7 weeks as well.
And I'm glad we're talking about that because it's starting to hit me where people are like, hey, you have everything set up for when the big day comes. Are you ready? And I guess mentally I'm like, yeah, no, I'm excited. I can't wait. But then logistically, I know the hospital I'm going to, and I think that's about it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about birthing plans. Just, if it happened today, would you know how to react? What do you think you need to do? And are we ready? Casey, you're a little bit further away, so maybe, this hasn't quite, come up yet, but have you thought about that? Like, when the day comes, do you know, like, you'll spring into action and everyone's got a role, everyone's got something to bring?
I don't know. Maybe you guys know more about it, because like you said, I'm a little bit further out, and I've heard the term birth plan thrown around just casually, but I don't really know what it entails. I mean, is it like a list you bring to the hospital and you're like, hey, if I go under for some reason, this is what I want, and blah, blah, blah. I don't really know. I haven't done a whole lot of research into it, but maybe you guys have. So I was excited to kind of chat with you about it.
I know that, well, one of my good friends who had a baby a couple months ago, she had, and she's very organized, she had like a whole sheet of things, their name, the baby name, things that she didn't want to happen. Just like a whole list. It was like laminated and something that she gave to the nurse.
God.
I know. I was like, can I get a copy of that? Because I have no idea what to put on mine. I asked my doctor, I was like, do I need to submit like a birth plan? And she was like, if you want, you can give, what your wishes are essentially to the nurse. She's like, but always keep in mind, everything's a guideline basically, because it all depends on how things go. So I think I'm just going to kind of write out, these are the things that I'm afraid of. these are the things I don't want to happen. But other than that, I'm just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of that. I'm trying to think of the must-have things. So like I know Hannah, who is an excellent planner, she already has a bag packed with some things she thinks she's going to need. And it was funny too because I was in the nursery and I saw like a piece of her luggage and I'm like, "Oh, do you want me to move that out of the way so we can make room for the kid?" She's like, "Oh no, that's my bag for when we go to the hospital." I was like, "Whoa, okay. I need to start thinking about this. She's ready and I need to think." And the only thing I really got from my dad friends was pack snacks, basic toiletries, because you're going to be in that hospital for a while. So for all the dads to be that may be listening, I guess that's the takeaway I'm hearing is you're going to be there a while. If you don't like hospital food, bring snacks and don't forget some maybe deodorant and a toothbrush because one day can turn into two and who knows. But to be honest, the logistics I'm still trying to map out in my head. Because, like, I mean, guys, what are the things that we know you need to go there with? Like, you're not going to be able to go home with, like, out a car seat, for example. That's a law. You have to have it. But, like, Katie, can you think of anything else? Like, what are the things that you need to have when you go?
So I've been watching actually like YouTube videos from mom bloggers about like what did they take, what did they actually use? Because I'm in the process of like starting to think about what I want to pack. A lot of them said that you want to bring like some basic toiletries because you will shower while you're there. So bring some shampoo, bring some like, makeup wipes, face wash. All of them said to bring your own pillow and blanket because I guess the pillows and blankets at the hospital aren't that comfortable. One of them even said like bring your own towel because I guess the towels aren't that great either at the hospital just to like shower. But also, of course, your insurance cards, your anything that you think you're going to need for the baby as far as like outfits that you want to put them in. Oh, everybody mentioned chargers. Make sure you bring your phone chargers and bring a long cord or an extension cord because I guess the outlets in the room are not very convenient. And the same thing they said for your partner, make sure he has snacks, make sure he has maybe a blanket and pillow as well because he'll be sleeping on the couch or chair or whatever it is that they have. But other than that, they said a lot of what you need will be provided by the hospital. Like you can bring your own delivery gown and robe and stuff, but they'll have, of course, a delivery gown and stuff for you.
That's what I read too, is that a lot of the things that you think you need, the hospital will provide for you. And as much as I love those mommy blogs, I think that sometimes they can get a little carried away. Like I was reading this blog the other day and it was like, okay, all the things that you need in your hospital bag. And it was 30 items long and it was like, you need this, this, and this, and you need scented wipes and lavender and just like all this crazy stuff. And I think people just read too far into it. I think as long as you have the essentials, which you touched on, Katie, I think, phone charger, definitely one because you're going to want to text your family and friends, especially in COVID because who knows who's going to be even allowed into the hospital room. And snacks, that's number one. That's up there for me. And maybe just a comfy pillow and then a change of clothes. Personally, I don't know. I feel like showering at the hospital is a little bit gross. But I think laying in my own, after labor and stuff, that's even grosser. So maybe a little bit of some shoes or shower shoes, something like that. That's what I'm thinking at least.
Yeah, it sounds like compare it to you're going to spend 2 days at your friend's college dorm back when you were in school. It's like, all right, so you want the shower stuff, you want the flip-flops because you don't know what the shower's going to be like. You're probably going to want your own pillow and stuff, but just imagine you're going to be away for a couple days and you're not really sure what to expect.
Yeah, just the essentials. That's just me. Other people could be packing bags on bags, but I think some people just read too far into it.
Yeah, there's definitely the potential to overthink it. I guess too, you want the comfort items, like when we talk about like your own towel or your own pillow. Also, not a bad idea if you have your own music or I know we all have it on our phone, but you want to make sure that that's charged up and ready because whatever's going to help keep you calm in that moment and help put you in your own space. I saw a lot of people, recommending maybe not a playlist, but at least that you have some music set aside that you think will put you in the right mind frame to go through this. Not that we know what we're going to go through, but something that you might think at least would calm you down.
some hardcore like Metallica or something, just so you can
if that's your thing. If you want to bring that kid into the world, rocking to Megadeth, then that's good. That's a cool kid off the bat. I'll tell you that.
I told my husband that he could make a labor and delivery playlist, and I think he has all like songs related to like push it real good, like that song. I think he's doing a whole like I don't know weird playlist of songs like that. I'm like I don't even know what's gonna be on this.
That's awesome. At least they'll make you laugh, when you're in pain.
I know. I'll be like, what is this?
I kind of hope it's just Salt and Pepper on loop for like an hour.
Oh my god, that would make you, deliver the baby pretty dang fast just to get out of that room.
Yeah, I know. Katie, you said Chris is you think he's gonna pack a cooler, maybe a Yeti full with some crispy boys.
I know. I joke, but I'm only like partially joking. When I could see him totally packing a cooler and putting like some White Claws and some beers at the bottom of it and like tailgating the birth.
Yeah, I mean he's got to take the edge off too. Obviously he's not doing all the hard work, but he's stressing. You need a little son to take the edge off.
I'm like, I don't mind as long as you're there, as long as he's there in the moment. My biggest fear, of course, is the spouse being turned away at the hospital for whatever reason. So I'm like, whatever. As long as you're there, I don't care what you do.
Have you guys heard from your hospital or any update as far as who's allowed in with you? Because there's been like nothing on my end. They told me at the beginning of this, back in February, March, that one person was allowed in, and that hasn't changed. I thought it might, but it hasn't yet. Have you guys had any changes for where you plan to deliver?
No, I haven't heard anything from where I plan to deliver either. Same with just one person, and they'll be temperature checked too. So if he has a temperature, he won't be allowed in.
Oh, God. So that makes me a little nervous. Yeah.
So it's like it could be, strep throat. If he's running a fever, he can't come in. So I was like, you have to stay healthy. So he's being very healthy.
Yeah, Baptist South was similar. We've been looking into it, and I can't go to the checkups right now with Hannah, which bums me out just because I like to be there with her. And they're allowing one person, so right now that's set to be me. But like you said, Katie, I have this serious obligation now to make sure I'm not running a fever. Not that that's the be-all, end-all, but hey, they're not taking any chances, and you get that, but man, you'd have to really physically do something to keep me out of that room.
Yeah, Chris will be the same way.
Didn't we all hope when we started doing these podcasts that, like, well, surely by then things will have died down and it'll be a safer world?
Yeah, I pretty much expected it, almost. I was so hopeful that I expected it. But at this point, we're like going backwards. So, I mean, hopefully, I don't even want to say this out loud, but hopefully the theaters they have now kind of stay around and they don't go backwards. Imagine if they told us that we couldn't have anyone with us. That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, that would be devastating.
Oh, well, I think I already told you guys this, but I'm in a situation where my mom, she was a nurse for 20 years, and then I have Mike, and it's like I'm not scared, but just kind of apprehensive about the whole birthing process. I hate getting my blood drawn. I hate anything like having to do with anything medical. I never liked it. So this whole process has been eye-opening for sure when I have to get my blood taken every single time, but I wanted to have my mom there because she's a nurse and she can be like, okay, this is what's happening and here's why. And obviously I want the father of my child there. So now I have to pick. Obviously it's going to be the father of my child at this point, but it's just like, man, I would really, having my mom there would give me so much more peace of mind. And knowing, I mean, we're like 2 months out now, that's probably not going to happen. It's just like, it's so scary.
Yeah, you hope things can change in that time, and cross our fingers. Hopefully they do. It's obviously you kind of want to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, but it's just funny. We knew that we started this comfortably in our newsroom. Talking to each other was so long ago, and then coronavirus came along, and we knew it was serious, and then just everything has been just so upended. The stories that we're gonna have to tell our kids are just. We're going to need a drink first and be like, all right, hold on. I'll tell you about the year you were born. Just get something out of the fridge for Daddy first.
I saw this meme. It's like, when I was pregnant with you, we were in lockdown for 2 weeks and we didn't have all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So you can, skip that party tonight or something like that. I'm like, I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using that when my child's a teenager for sure.
It's funny because I remember getting the guilt trips from mom that was like, I carried you for 9 months and you're going to go out with your friends when we have a family thing going on. And I said that to Hannah the other day. I'm like, oh, as soon as he wants to go with his buddies, you just remind him about how you couldn't sleep. And so that role flips real quick. And then when it's convenient for us, I can definitely see us playing that card.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to play that card all the time.
So while we're catching up, too, I know we talked before about pediatricians. Hannah and I finally locked one down, and we had a great interview with a doctor before, and I think the best advice he gave, and it turns out it was true, go with who feels, like a good fit, because he compared interviewing pediatricians to dates, and we went on 3, I guess, and one of them we both was like, we really just clicked with them. So that was kind of exciting, and I enjoyed revisiting that podcast because I was like, man, he was right. Because the first pediatrician was certainly adequate, but then it was that second one we went to, we're like, oh, I think that's the one. So I was happy to get that out of the way. I know, Katie, you got your pediatrician lined up too, right?
Yeah, and it was kind of the same way. We did a couple interviews, and it really was the one that we decided to go with. It just felt comfortable. Like, we felt most at ease talking with her. When we had questions, she was great with answering our questions. It was just like, you just feel very comfortable with this person. So, so we locked her down, and I'm really excited about her choice.
We still haven't really locked ours down. Apparently the pediatrician that we were interested in, they're really booked up, and with this whole COVID thing, they're not doing tours or anything like that. So they're just doing online, I guess, interviews. But even then, they said that they're still booked up. We have an appointment with them 2 weeks before our due date. So hopefully everything goes as planned, and hopefully everything works out. But is that normal? I mean, when did you guys meet with your pediatricians? How long ago was it?
Ours was a couple weeks ago, but I asked my OBGYN, I was like, when do I have to have a pediatrician? She's like, just by the time you go to the hospital, as long as we have somebody to write it down and to call at the hospital, that's all we need. I was like, okay, I can do that.
Cool. That makes it go a lot better.
Yeah, for Hannah and I, it was literally just last week. So if you did one next week, you'd be ahead of the schedule from us then. But yeah, the same thing. I think they want to set this benchmark that like, hey, we're planting the seed in your head to start thinking about it and doing it just to make sure you go into the hospital knowing who it is. But that is the absolute, deadline. Not, I would encourage procrastinating to do it right before you go to the hospital, but you got plenty of time. You're doing fine.
I'm worried. Just going back, I'm just Googling around here as we're talking, looking at, what your birth plan should include. And I guess, if you're planning to have, any drugs, what kind of drugs you want and how you want it. And I'm just reading this thing. If you wanted to have an epidural, sometimes they can't give you one. They can't physically give you one. So that's terrifying. Are you guys, I don't know if it's too personal or not, but are you guys planning to include epidural in your birth plan?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm going to try and labor for a little bit, but I'm definitely getting the epidural.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be like, find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, same. So that's terrifying. I guess sometimes even if you want it, they can't give it to you based on, what's going on in the situation. Man, that's going to suck.
Yeah,
I know. I think that's only if you progress really fast. So you'd have to dilate real quick, which hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, gosh. There's a lady at work, I won't name drop her here, but at First Coast News, who recently had a kid, and she said that she was only in labor for 6 hours.
Was that her first kid?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6 hours, and that's it. And she had a really fast labor, and she said it was like a breeze, and I was like, that is goals right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the most of the parents I've talked to, the first kid takes a while. Like, at least in my family experience, it's been about at least a day for the first kids. And then the second kid, I don't know if it's just your body's a little more ready, you're a little more ready, but those ones go quicker. But going back to what you were saying, Casey, Hannah's getting the epidural, and I'm getting one too. I don't want to feel anything. I just want to be there and be excited.
You're getting one too.
Whatever's clever. I'll just send it. Again, if I can't bring in the White Claws with Chris, like your husband's doing, Katie, I'm gonna get the epidural.
Yeah, I guess they don't do epidurals in the UK. That's not like a normal thing. I read it was probably a week ago or so. Obviously, I've been doing my research on drugs. That they don't do epidurals, they do gas. And I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently they do gas, like laughing gas. And I'm like, wow, that would be a very weird experience if you had laughing gas and, you're all giddy and giggly the entire time. But, I mean, teach their own.
I was just going to say with the epidural, we've talked to doctors, we've, done some research, and by and large, it's completely a safe thing. There's no studies that suggest it's going to be anything really, it's going to cause any damage towards your baby. So, I mean, I completely respect the mom's choice who don't want to go with that. But when we heard that and we talked to the doctors and they said, we don't expect anything negative from it, then it's like, well, why wouldn't we? So Hannah's all on board for that. And, respect to any mom who wants to do something differently, but sign us up.
I just know the panic attack I would have if I didn't have one would probably have a worse result than getting one.
So one thing that we've got wrapped up too, well, not wrapped up, but I'm staring at a ton of boxes as well in the nursery because the virtual baby shower is a go. It hasn't happened yet, and to be honest, we probably should have done it sooner because we're so close, but we figured it out. Hannah's sister and her mom have sent out the invitations and emails to our friends and family. They're sending me boxes, so I'm looking at a stack of Amazon boxes, and I'm going to open them and give them to Hannah so she can go through and then be surprised and Zoom chat with all the family members. So I think we got it figured out. It hasn't happened yet, but we have it planned, and it should work.
That's pretty cool. That takes some self-control to not open those boxes.
Well, what's funny, too, is it's a lot of it's on a baby registry. And if you have an Amazon wish list, it'll tell you when something is no longer on it. So I think Hannah has been kind of snooping and probably maybe she doesn't know who got her what, but I think she knows some of the things she's expecting. But even so, you guys deserve to be showered with gifts. Why not? Find yours. I don't know what you guys are planning, but hopefully, you guys find a way to at least get some free stuff out of this. I mean, come on. You guys are doing all the work.
Katie, when is your baby shower coming up soon?
We opted not to do a baby shower, not a traditional one. My sister just sent out some notes to close friends and family saying, this is where they're registered. So if you'd like to send a gift, of course they would be very happy about that. So I don't know if that's considered a baby shower, but that's just kind of how we're doing it.
That's easy. That's super easy because we have ours not this weekend, but next weekend, and it's kind of on the smaller side. And I'm already just thinking about food and thinking about prepping, thinking how everyone's going to stay safe, social distancing, all that stuff. So it's just I kind of wish I did a virtual one or what you're doing, Katie, kind of just a low key one. But it'll work out. I think everyone does it a little bit differently, and in the end, as long as you get the stuff that you want and the stuff that you need, baby needs, then it's all good. Yeah,
I mean, we just got to make sure we're prepared for everything. I guess as prepared as you can be. The one thing my sister was telling me was that, there are going to be things you're going to get, you think you're going to need, and the baby won't even react to it. And then there'll be one or two things that the baby just could not live without, and you can't imagine not having them in your life. So the downside is we're not really going to know what those items are until a baby decides for us. So we can get everything we want to be prepared for, but who knows?
All right. Well, thanks for chatting. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever.
I know. It's been so long, Casey. I just hope we all recognize each other when this is over. All right. But thanks again, everyone, for joining us. This has been Parental Advisory, Expecting Parents with First Coast News. Bear with us because Lord knows we can't predict our schedules, but we're going to try and keep these updated for you. Baby.